Hello, and welcome to STAC Chat, Halloween edition. Joining me today is Matt Cavallo and Joe McCabe. So let's start chatting, and I'm Liz Kaminski. Forgot about that. But all right, so guys, this is the first year in 2 years around that we're actually able to celebrate Halloween. You know, 2 years ago we had the snowstorm, and then last year, of course, we had Sandy, which was pretty scary in and of itself. Yeah. So just to remember Sandy a little bit, do you guys have any stories from Sandy that you guys would like to share?
I remember the first day I walked out to outside, and everything was just destroyed, and we were all in silence. My whole family, we were just looking around. It was just this devastation, and it was really a horrific sight to see. It was
almost
scary.
like an apocalypse itself. It's pretty scary, and especially I remember on Halloween. I lived down at the Jersey Shore actually, so. We had power. We were without power for a long time. So on Halloween, we had to go get ice at the only food store that actually had a generator and had power. So we're in this food store. It's Halloween, of course, but no one's celebrating it. Yeah. But it was just so scary to think about, you know, because there's people fighting over the ice. I saw a lady get into the ice box to scrape up the bottom of the ice. It just showed how unprepared we were for that storm. But people have been, making preparations and will next time take into consideration these types of warnings because, a lot of people could have prepared better than they were.
Yeah. I actually remember I was stuck here on campus during that time. I was here the night of Sandy, and we couldn't leave at all. We wanted to all head back into the city, try to, find some place to stay. We ended up staying here, and I remember the power went out, and we had so much cabin fever that we actually went out into the storm and tried to play manhunt.
Not a good plan.
Yeah, not a good plan at all. And all we saw was trees coming down and power lines going off. It was the craziest thing we ever saw. And we all just ran back to the room scared, stiffless. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was quite scary. That was quite a scary Halloween time.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. It was
a living nightmare.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was almost like what you living in. The closest thing to apocalypse we've come.
Oh yeah,
almost especially for up here.
Yeah, it was 2012 too at the time. So.
Well, this year we are able to celebrate Halloween. So, what are some activities? Sleepy Hollow is right over the Tappan Zee Bridge, and Sleepy Hollow has a good history, and especially with the new TV show and everything. So, Matt, can you tell us a little bit about the history of Sleepy Hollow? And
I absolutely can.
Why it's so scary?
Yeah. Well, Sleepy Hollow, the legend began in 1790. In a town called Tarrytown, New York. It was controlled by a Dutch settlement. A lot of Dutch people settled there. And there was a secluded valley there that was called Sleepy Hollow. And it was called Sleepy Hollow because of all the ghosts that would come on through the area. The most famous ghost, was probably everyone knows, is the Headless Horseman. The Headless Horseman is said to be a ghost of a Hessian soldier that had his head knocked off by a cannonball during the American Revolutionary War. Oh. And every year he comes back in Halloween to catch the question of getting back his head. The legend relates to two guys named Ichabod Crane and Andrew Van Brunt. They tried to fight over a girl named Katrina Van Tassel.
Oh, wow.
And Ichabod failed to secure Katrina's hand in marriage, which left for Van Brunt. So he was heading back to his house, and he was stopped by this figure with on a horse with no head. The next morning, he disappeared. And a lot of people are very wary to say that it was the Headless Horseman because they don't want to believe that it exists. They're too afraid to say that it was the Headless Horseman. So a lot of people tell the story that it was Van Brunt in disguise
disguised as the Headless Horseman?
Exactly, okay. to get Katrina's hand in marriage.
So that's the legend surrounding Sleepy Hollow. And they have the new TV show on Fox, and it follows that storyline pretty closely, but it's present day, right? Joe, did you watch any of that?
I actually have been watching it. It's a very interesting show. I really like it. It's the premise is like this. Ichabod Crane was sent from time. He was somehow resurrected and shot 200 years into the future. Mm-hmm. And the horsemen that are circling around the town are actually the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Oh. So he's not only fighting the main horseman, which the way they portray the original horseman, he's supposed to be the angel of death. Mm-hmm. In the show, he's not only fighting them, but he's also fighting reapers and all kinds of different creatures that are popping up during this time period.
Interesting. And you know, so if you're looking for something cool to do this Halloween, you could always just go over the Tappan Zee Bridge. They have different haunted tours, and these tours can continue into November 1st and 2nd. So basically, you get to go to Sleepy Hollow, and you walk down a haunted trail, and you know, you might see some scary ghouls and whatnot along the way. And then if you make it down the trail, you end up at a maze. So you have to go through a cornfield maze, and you know, some scary stuff might pop out of there too. Yeah. And then if you get through the maze, you finally end up at the horseman's lair and at his house, and he's having a party. He's celebrating Halloween. Ooh. So, but you know, some heads could roll at that party. And tickets are $20 each. All right. So now let's talk about, you know, what are you guys' favorite Halloween classic movies to watch? You know, what is your favorite thing to watch? Some scary movies to watch on Halloween that if you don't want to go out, you could always have like a movie night with your friends. Yeah,
I like Halloween, you know, the with Michael Myers, you know, I like that series.
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah. I think those are very entertaining. I like those a lot. I'm also big into the Scream franchise too. Even though the last one wasn't very good, I didn't like it. But I thought that was a franchise that I got into when I was a kid. So.
You know, I grew up watching all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Mm-hmm. Okay. So my brothers, they would like tie me down and they make me watch like all the horror movies they can ever come up with. Like I watched that, The Exorcist. Like I watched all these crazy, and they like really warped me. Yeah. But
brotherly love, right?
They were really good. They were, you know, because they stopped being so scary at one point and ended up turning into comedies at another point. But no, the all-time scariest movie I ever watched was definitely The Exorcist. It was in your mind. It created like it could happen to you type of scary. Yeah. You know, that's what I really loved about it.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Stephen King, so really anything Stephen King-like. So, of course, The Shining is one of my favorite movies. Yeah. And I love that whole, like, not necessarily gory movies. I like more movies that get in your mind, like you said, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So like The Shining. I'm also a fan of Carrie, the original. I haven't gotten a chance to see the remake yet, but I heard that the remake is actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Well, I read the book when I was younger. It was I like the fact that they're remaking it and revamping it for modern day audiences. That's a really clever way of going at things.
Absolutely. Right. And did you see? There's a video about Carrie. There's this. They did this prank where in a coffee shop. To promote the movie by having this girl have the powers of Carrie in the middle, and it was just like this prank. Yeah. And it was all staged, obviously. It was like actors, and she would throw people against the wall, and it was actually a pretty clever way to promote the film. I thought it was really funny.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Yeah.
All right, so what about haunted houses? Do you guys go to haunted houses, or...?
I live in a haunted house.
You live in a haunted house?
I live in a haunted house. I've seen so many weird things happen over the years. It's getting, you know, it really gets into your soul, like it really does. I grew up in, you know, a small neighborhood in Queens, and my house used to be a house for wakes. It used to be a funeral home, and I was, you know, I didn't know that until I was about 15 years old, and it made sense because over the years I always like witnessed like little things like, you know, like a candlestick move or like little things like that. And over the years, it just, you know, I swear, as soon as I graduate college, I'm definitely moving out of my parents' house. Like, that's it.
So you believe in ghosts then?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I do too. I mean, I do too. I think there's beings that live among us that, you know, haven't found a place yet. I mean, I don't know.
Do you think that they come out especially on Halloween?
Absolutely,
especially Halloween night?
Yeah. So.
Or any time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Halloween.
I don't think it has to be Halloween, but I think they're more common on Halloween probably.
Okay. So, but if anyone out there is into haunted houses, there is a haunted hayride and haunted trail right over in Montvale that you can go to, and one of our STAC students actually works there, Melissa Vanderteams. So if you're walking the trail, you might see her, but you might not recognize her. She's one of the actors there. You can purchase tickets there as well. So Halloween, it's all good fun and everything, but you have to be careful, especially kids. So what are some tips that growing up you guys learned? Always stay in groups, always when you're walking out at night, wear a piece of reflecting clothing, stuff like that.
Yeah. Just I always traveled with my parents. I always never went alone. Whenever I would go trick-or-treating, I would go with a group of friends. So preferably so my mom didn't have to go with me because, not only did she not like it, but I didn't really like it when she would travel around with me. But, just stay in safe areas, and typically that areas are less of a threat. And, just don't stay out too late,
Yeah, definitely. And for even younger kids, if parents want to go, parents can go right to the Palisades Mall. They have safe trick-or-treating this year. Right. So after school, you could always take your kids over there. Or if you have little brothers or sisters, you could take them over there too.
The number one thing I think for all kids to be aware of is definitely check your candy. All right, always be cautious about that. You don't want to eat something that you never know might be sharp or anything that might be deadly. Just be careful. Always check your candy as soon as you're done trick-or-treating.
Well, I mean, as a kid, I always sorted my candy to begin with anyway. So, I was one of those, here's all my Reese's, here's all my Kit Kats, here's all the cheap candy that people were too cheap to get the good chocolate.
Yeah. Whenever, what we would do is whenever we would come back from trick-or-treating, we would all pile our candy up and we'd do trades. So it was really fun. But yeah, we'd always sort it out and make sure that nothing is wrong and we got everything that we want. Yeah. And the stuff we didn't want, we would throw away or give to someone else or something. So we were always very cautious about that. That's very important.
I only ate Snickers. I only wanted Snickers. If the house didn't give me Snickers and she gave me something else, I'd make sure I'm putting you down on the list. You're gonna get egged tonight.
You're
no Snickers. Oh.
No Snickers. Lots of eggs.
Yeah. And toilet paper.
All right. So maybe before we go, we can just go over our costumes. So where are you, Matt?
I am. Clark Kent, in transformation, I'm like half Clark Kent, half Superman type-esque, thought it was pretty good. I'm two people at once, which is always good.
These are quick costume ideas for tonight. If anybody's going out tonight and did not make a costume, you could just, if you have a headband lying around, girls, you could just put 2 pieces of cloth, cut them out to make triangles, make some ears, and just do your makeup like a cat, and done. That's a quick costume, if you guys are looking for quick costumes.
I'm Good Will Hunting, if anybody hasn't figured it out yet. But, yeah. Oh, and by the way, it's, he's not Clark Kent.
I'm sorry.
I had to tell you this, even before the show.
All right, well, I mean, he's Clark Kent. His persona is Clark Kent, okay?
Yeah.
Right. It's Kal-El, okay?
Kal-El, all right. Well, I'm all of them people. So that means I'm 3 people. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's your, as we get older, a lot of people go to Halloween parties and stuff like that. So, what's your favorite Halloween dish that you would bring to a party or something like that?
I love pumpkin pie.
Yeah?
I love pumpkin pie. My mom makes good pumpkin pie. I always loved whenever it was Halloween time when we would do the pumpkins, we would take out the seeds and sprinkle salt on them and put them in the microwave. That was always a big tradition in our family. My brother and sister would love it. It was just like pumpkin seeds. That was always awesome. And we love candy. Any candy. Love candy. Candy.
Today's all about the candy.
Everything candy.
My mom would actually make vanilla ice cream, and she'd mix it up with candy corn.
Oh, wow.
That was a great way to do things.
That sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah, I like candy corn.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So everyone, please be safe out there tonight for Halloween. And if you're going out to the bars, please don't drink and drive. Take a taxi.
Absolutely.
Okay? All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us today. And thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Liz Kaminski.
I'm Matt Cavallo.
I'm Joe McCabe.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks.